Awesome. Well, what served as your sources of inspiration for this audio drama?
Well, I really like the noir genre, and I feel like it's not heavily represented in podcasting, especially.
Mm.
Podcasting, even though it's been around for a while, is still a relatively new medium in terms of how the whole world as a whole perceives it. So I just wanted to make sure that noir was brought into this generation and make sure that there's a couple staples, uh, available if people want that kind of style, that kind of genre. So that is definitely a driving force in kind of like picking that medium in that style.
Awesome. And is there any in particular sources that you draw inspiration from, be it movies or I don't know, other audio dramas or audio books that exist or anything like that, or perhaps books even?
Yeah, so I guess a lot goes into it. Some of the inspiration isn't even necessarily noir, but it's like the old Bond films. I've always been a huge
Cool.
fan of those. So the Sean Connery Bond era is very inspirational. What's also inspirational is the old shows like Maltese Falcon, Dick Tracy, and then there's also um, movies that, especially in like the '60s and '70s era, like Chinatown,
Mm.
movies like that with Jack Nicholson, that really sells the concept for me. And then for a more recent reference, Sin City, it's loosely noir compared to maybe the original stuff, but it's got a unique art style and it still has that heavy inner monologue, character narration that, the dark, rainy alleyways and the violent, seedy underbelly of a city kind of vibe.
And it's a lot more gritty and I suppose more modernistic, isn't it? Like, what do you
Yeah,
tend to prefer? Do you like the more modern style, or do you like the sort of classic sort of 40s, 50s, sorry, or 40s, 30s style?
I think they're both important. And I think that what I tried to do in my show is bring both to the table, take the strengths from both of them. I'm been a writer for a while, but I don't have a lot of published work out there. But I am really good at identifying like patterns and tropes. So I want to take the positive tropes and, kick out the negatives.
Hmm. Okay, I get that. And talk us a little bit through the story, if you can. Like, what can we kind of expect from this audio drama?
So the main character's name is Frank Dixon. He's a private investigator. He tries to avoid close emotional ties with people. Um, some of the characters, you could tell he's been close to them for a while, so they kind of chink away at his armor. And there's some social dynamic there. And then there's also a case that he normally doesn't work any kind of murder cases because he leaves that, the police typically handle those. But he got a special request to look into it because his client didn't feel that the police could handle it. So he's looking into a murder, and as the evidence piles up, it gets stranger and stranger and harder to find. So most of that first season is an anticipation of getting a break in the case.
Ah, clever. Yes, it kind of makes you fully anticipate season two. Then that's a good one. And also, one question I wanted to ask you right off the bat, because obviously with audio dramas, podcasts in general, it's tricky to figure out, how long it should be. Some people say shorter, some people say longer is better. I suppose it really depends on the medium and what you're trying to achieve, and
Yeah.
also whether or not you structure things as far as like segments or anything. Obviously it's a bit different if you're doing the story, but it's a fair thing to sort of consider. How did you decide on the right amount of time? Because every episode of your audio drama is roughly 20 minutes over or under. How did
Yeah.
you decide on that number?
So when I made the pilot, it's like 15 and a half minutes or so. And I was telling myself, everybody's got 15 minutes. 15
Mm,
minutes is not asking for much of your time. It's just a little bit longer than the average YouTube video nowadays, maybe even less with vlogging being what it is. So, 15 minutes isn't a lot to ask, and it's even probably less when you take out the intro and outro. It's probably, 12, 13 minutes.
Right.
So, uh, I it was kind of like a selling point for it. Like I felt like everybody had that amount of time to give it a shot. They do get a little bit longer, like they average about 20 minutes in the first season. And I chose that because I felt smaller sizes were more digestible. And personally, when I listen to podcasts, I don't listen to podcasts that are over an hour typically. And so I try to keep mine in what I consider like a respectable space, especially for like cutting my teeth on this whole audio drama concept, because this is my first finished product when it comes to like writing essentially an audio screenplay.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Do you think it's going to stay the same in the second season as far as that's concerned?
No, it's going to be a little bit longer. So we're going to it's going to be closer to the 30-minute mark on most episodes. We have a couple episodes that are in between 20 and 30, and then we're also going to have one that's a lot longer, the finale, which
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
finishing up writing right now. So
Excellent. And in terms of the timescale of this, when can listeners expect to hear that?
I hesitate to give an exact date.
Right.
I don't want to make any false promises because it is
I get
quite a
that.
production, but I think it'd be fair to say end of January, beginning of February.
Okay, so not too far then. Yeah, something to
Yeah.
look forward to in the new year. Awesome.